There's nothing more crushing than to muster up the courage to speak up, and you speak up to someone who takes that information that you just told them just to turn it around and use it against you. I have a father wound, and my child abuse started when I was 5 years old. And as I became a teenager, it went into the physical and sexual. When I finally mustered up the courage to actually tell my mother, I was 19 years old. I was 19 years old when I finally told her what was going on. When I told my mom about the abuse, she basically turned it around and made herself the victim. She went and told a friend of hers what had happened, what my dad was doing to me, but then turned it around with her friend and said, look what he did to me, meaning her. You know, that's the one thing that crushed me over the years of my life, all the years that I struggled and suffered with this, was that I never had a safe place to talk about it. I couldn't tell my sisters about it. I mean, I did tell them about it, but what I mean is they didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear about it. They wanted me to just stuff it down, forget it, get over it, were their quote unquote terms of telling me how to handle things, was to just get over it. And another family member of mine that I went to and talked about it didn't want it to get out in the family because, you know, they didn't want to have anything come back on them, didn't want it destroying the image of the family. And that is why a lot of people struggle to speak up, because they're afraid of what the family members will do to them for speaking up. These family members were abusers towards me. And that information that I gave them of what happened to me became the very abuse that they would use against me, most of the years of my life. Not talking to me. We would go on these long spouts of, if I said something, did something that they didn't like, they would use it against me, not talk to me. They would, if I said something on the phone to them, they would hang up and I wouldn't be able to call back and finish my conversation. They would just block me. Just abusive tactics, just completely abusive tactics against me because of what they knew about me. They thought so little of me at this point that they just felt that they could treat me any way they wanted to treat me. And that's just not what God wants for us. God wants for us to be able to have the freedom to speak up by giving it to Him. Give it to Him and ask Him for discernment of who you should be speaking to. For this very reason, you need discernment as to who you can go to and talk to about your trauma, your abuse, because, listen, the wrong ears can use it against you. They can be the very perpetrators to try to hold you down and keep you from speaking it to help you to heal. See, Ephesians 4:15 says, but speaking the truth in love, we will grow in every way into Him who is the head, into Christ. We are to speak our truth. We are to speak it with kindness. We are to speak it with love. But if it's not taken and reciprocated back to you in that way, then you need to walk away, because that type of person that you gave that information to, if they're not trying to help you, if they're not trying to edify and build you up after knowing what you've just told them, then they're not the right person or the right set of ears to help you in your healing. In order to heal, you do need to speak up, but you need to be wise in who you're speaking up to. If your perpetrator that you're speaking to, if you're going to them and telling them, I need to tell you what you did was wrong, and they don't want to take accountability, then you need to move on. If another family member doesn't want to hear about it and they don't want to help you in this time that you just took the courage to speak up, then you need to move on. You need to pray. You need to give it to the Lord and ask him to give you the discernment, but also to bring you to the right place of being able to talk to someone about it. Lifting it to the Lord is the safest place you're ever going to have to speak your truth. The safest place you will ever have is to lift it to God. But then he will also bring to you the right ears, the right people with the right heart that can help you and guide you in this journey. So I urge you, don't let fear hold you back from speaking your truth. Don't. You don't have to live in fear, shame, or guilt anymore. You have a God-given right to speak up, to get your healing, and start that journey. But you're not going to start that journey without talking about it. You've got to talk about it first. You got to lift it to the Lord. And you got to forgive. I say this all the time. You got to forgive. Forgiveness is for you. It's not for them. And you know what? If you decide that you don't want this person in your life after you've forgiven them, that's your right for that too. It's as long as it depends on you is how you would handle that. If keeping this person in your life makes you lose your peace, then you forgive and you walk away. You love them from a distance. You love them from a distance, but them being in your life just takes that peace away from you. So you can love them, you can pray for them, but they don't have to be in your life. You can walk away. So my hope is for anyone that's going through any type of child abuse, trauma, who suffers PTSD the way I do, the triggers and the flashbacks that come about, my hope and prayer for you is that you lift this to the Lord and you start there. Lift it to him. Let him help you find your voice. Let him help you discern the right people to talk to. And my hope is that you will start this journey today. Start this journey today, and he will help you and guide you every step of the way. May God bless you.